SpyFu-Textbroker Webinar, Getting Over Your Fear and Content Writing Stage Fright. I see that we have some attendees already, and that's fantastic. Thank you, guys. We're going to wait a few minutes while we get all of our attendees. In the meantime, I'm just going to introduce real quickly our panelists and then give you some information on how to interact with us during the webinar. We have Mike Roberts from SpyFu, and you're really going to love listening to Mike. He is, and correct me if I get anything wrong, but
sure.
he is the founder of SpyFu, and he's got some just mad ninja skills that he'll be sharing with you. And then
that's a great introduction. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no correction on your part, Mike, right?
Right.
And then we have Steve Perchikoff from Textbroker, who will be giving you some really interesting ideas about content, what to look for, kind of how to visualize that, and then also how to get it created really quickly. So
sounds good.
We're just going to give you a few more minutes. In the meantime, you can tweet at us. You can tweet at either @SpyFu or @Textbroker with any questions. And there also is a question panel in your GoToWebinar interface. Go ahead and send us questions during people's presentations. We're going to hold the answers to those questions for a Q&A session afterwards. That way our presenters can get through their material. And if you ask a question early on, they might actually wind up answering it somewhere down the line. So this way we can really get great content, great information out to you guys, and we can still have that interactivity. So we'll give it just a few more minutes. Go ahead and get settled in, get your coffee, get your notes ready, and we'll get started in just a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes for any latecomers, all right?
Awesome. Hey, do you guys want to give me, I think you need to make me the presenter so that, and then I can get my screen showing.
Okay.
There we go.
Done.
Awesome. All right, so shall we get started?
Yeah, I think we can pretty much get started.
All right. So I'm Mike Roberts. I'm the president and founder of SpyFu, and today I'm going to talk about how to use SpyFu and Textbroker together to sort of figure out which content you should build, and then how to build it in a fairly automated way. I feel like, you know, content marketing is not just the future, it's the present, and building content is really the most effective form of marketing in terms of ROI, in terms of in terms of scale. Lots of companies have built their entire business around content marketing, and one of the biggest challenges that I find is not actually getting the content produced. I mean, you can hire a guest blogger, you can hire, a copywriter, or you can use a service like Textbroker. You can do the content yourself, but the biggest challenge I've seen, and I have personally, is actually figuring out what to write. Now, it's not that there's a lack of ideas about what content maybe should exist. It's because when you're building content, you want to come up with content that is going to, return, get you a return on your investment. And that return on investment, you can use various metrics. One of them could be, the amount of clicks that you're going to get from it via organic. The other could be like engagement, social, or engagement within your site. shareability, and so on. And all these things are, I mean, it would be best if you don't leave it to chance, right? If you could figure out the content that's going to be shareable, that's going to get you organic traction before you write the content. Because oftentimes, I mean, we look at like sort of our portfolio of like articles that we've written, and something like 50% of them, maybe 30% of them, are actually successful from the perspective of of ROI. But then, the ones that are at the top of that list, the top 10% are wildly successful. But then we have some near the bottom of the list that have like just literally gotten no traction whatsoever. So it'd be great to be able to zero in on that top 10% and only produce that content. And so that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. In fact, I'm going to show you stuff that really hasn't existed longer than the last 3 months, because we just created it specifically for this purpose, or actually a couple of different purposes, but this is one of the key value additions that we've added in the last in the last 3 months, really. I mean, we've actually been working on it longer than that, but most of these things have been launched in the last 3 months. At the end, I'm going to show you actually a quick case study, just how to actually use this in a almost a white paper fashion. Like, this is actually, I could actually do this and probably make some money, but I probably won't, because I have a business to run. But you all out there can absolutely just take this sort of niche that I'm going to carve out and completely implement it, and I'd be happy to hear that story, because I pretty much guarantee it'll work. All right, so real quickly, who is SpyFu? If you're not familiar with us, or you didn't get our email and you got Textbroker's email or whatever, then we're based in Scottsdale, Arizona, founded in 2006. You can basically go to SpyFu.com and type in any domain name and see every keyword that they've ever bought on Google.com, on AdWords, every organic ranking that they've ever had, and every ad variation they've run anytime in the last 5 or 6 years. We actually keep all of that information. In fact, every bit of information that you see on SpyFu is actually auditable back to our cache, which also, meaning there's a screenshot of every SERP that we have, that we pulled any time in the last 6 years. So if we say something, if you say that this domain ranked on a keyword, or that they had this ad that had this ad copy, it's irrefutably true. We always have a screenshot of it. And I talk about this 5 and 6 years thing, which is, it's important because in the last 3 months, one of the major things that we've done is opened up all of that history, which allows you to go back and see things like, well, what happened to JCPenney when caffeine happened or something. You can actually see every step along the way what happened to somebody's AdWords or SEO campaign. So the other stuff that we've added is the ability to not just type in a domain. In addition to typing in a domain, you can also type in a subdomain or a path right on down to the page, so you can see which keywords not just a domain ranks on, but like their blog, or you can zoom into the individual article, see which keywords it ranks on. And as with everything on SpyFu, you can see not just the keywords, but how many clicks they're getting on that keyword, and how much the keyword is worth, and consequently, how much the clicks are worth if they had to buy them in, with PPC dollars, right? So here's an example. If you were to type in SEO, and by the way, if you're following along, you can actually access much of this information for free. So you can just type in, these domains or these things right into SpyFu, even if you don't have an account. A lot of the stuff that we charge for is actually the sort of drilling in. Like you want to see more information, you have to pay. But for example, you could go to this page, type in seomoz.org/blog, and you'd actually see this page. and then it would ask you to subscribe to see all the details or something like that. But you'd see like the top 10 results or something like that. So we type in seomoz.org/blog, and then what we're seeing here are their top keywords that point to their blog, and then you can actually estimate that the overall size of the blog in terms of how many clicks does it get and how much are all those clicks worth. You can see that down at the bottom of the page. You can also see there that you can see the cache SERP and the ranking and the ranking history and so on. And I'll go into that in a minute. But ultimately, when I'm looking for inspiration, right? SEOmoz's blog is an outstanding blog for SEO. And if I wanted to build my SEO footprint, I might look at them as somebody to sort of emulate. So from our perspective, I might look through here and be like, oh, Webmaster Tools, that could be a pretty good article for us to look at. So I'd actually click on, I don't know if you can actually tell that I ultimately clicked on Webmaster Tools right here. Actually, I should have, can you see my mouse? Oh, awesome. Okay, so I'd click on Webmaster Tools, and that would take me to this page. By the way, I'm not running this live. As you can tell, these are all slides. That's just so that everything's nice and the GoToMeeting actually interferes with my internet connection sometimes. So I zoom in on this, and now you see I'm looking at this individual page. So these are the keywords that this individual article ranks on, and you can see the position that it's ranking on. You can see actually how difficult the keyword is, and at the bottom here you can see how many clicks per month they're getting and how much all those clicks are worth given the cost per click. So these are pretty high cost per click keywords, and so the article is driving $30,000 worth of traffic to SEOmoz, based on the PPC cost of those keywords. So I'm like, wow, that's a great article. I should probably build one that's very similar. So this is one strategy that we could use, looking at somebody else's blog. Somebody's blog, it could be your competitor, or it could be somebody that you admire their their content. So you look at it and you're like, okay, I'm going to add this page, and I want to basically have Textbroker or whatever make me a similar page. That's one strategy you can go down. I'm going to show you a different one later, but this one is absolutely super solid. I would use this all day long, just looking at somebody else's blog, cherry picking the best articles, and then having those rewritten. I use rewritten. Is that something that you guys would recommend? Do you like that language? I just say rewritten, meaning don't copy it, but just write something similar. Does that seem like a good word for that? Steve or Christina? No?
Sorry, we had muted ourselves to
that's cool.
let you be more clear. But in general, oops, sorry about that. In general, yeah, rewrites. If you're asking for rewrites, if you can pull two sources for the authors, that just gives them more ideas.
That's what I'm going into right now. So I wouldn't actually have them rewrite an individual article. I would actually give them a couple. And so you can see on this same page, this is from the same page, but I just scrolled down a little further. You see this competing pages. So these pages, and obviously because it's Google Webmaster Tools, Google ranks on a lot of them. But you can see not just the other pages, but you also see the engagement level on these pages. So whereas something from Google here, like Google Webmaster Tools, might be high ranking, this one here, a high ranking page, it may not be shared that much because maybe it's not as good of a piece of content. I mean, look at this, look at the engagement level on this SEOmoz one. Like, you got 1,286 tweets, and I mean, lots of things on SEOmoz get a lot of engagement, but but you see that that's better engagement than Google gets on their own stuff, and so obviously it's a good page to look at. But then there's and the other one that I would look at here, it would be the Search Engine Watch article here with a pretty good engagement level. I'd click into that and see if it's something that I could also reread, see how similar these two are, and then I'd use these two articles as a launchpad to create some, maybe 1 or 2 articles, maybe 4 articles. Who knows? It's $30,000 worth of potential clicks. I might create 15 articles. It doesn't really matter, right? That's a lot of value versus the amount that you're going to pay to have articles written. All right. So one interesting thing about this page is that it'll also work for your social pages. So here's an example of a customer that the Desi group. So you can actually type in your actual social page. So there's their Pinterest account or their Pinterest page. I'm not super versed at the lingo of Pinteresters, but so their Pinterest page. You can see that they rank on all of these keywords, and so that's really great to understand your ROI on your social stuff. Even, because it's really difficult to quantify that. There's no other way to actually see where your organic traction is coming from for your social accounts. I don't know of any other way. And generally, other than measuring engagement, it's kind of difficult to figure out what your ROI is. But here, you can say, look, this page, or our Pinterest page is getting us $562 in organic traffic per month, which is kind of cool. The other thing you can do on this is, and I said that I'd get to this real quick, is you can look into the history. And this is one of the other things that we've added in the last 3 months, is the ability to drill back into your organic rankings for any keyword, for any domain, and for any URL going back 6 years. Okay? So here's just that one keyword, and the cool thing is that you can say to a customer, if you happen to be managing this social stuff for them, you can say, look, we never ranked on black bridesmaid dresses before I created this content. So, and I created it in February. I created it in February, and we immediately started ranking on it, and here's how much money it's worth. So you can say without any beyond a shadow of a doubt, look, we created value, right? And that's pretty cool. But the other thing that you can do with this stuff is that you can actually, the other thing that we do is we overlay every single one of Google's algorithm changes ever. So you can see, and this is JCPenney, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with what happened to JCPenney at some point, but they, every time, like there's, obviously you can see every time there's a major Google update, it's like JCPenney gets slapped because they, I think, are, pretty much, well, everybody knows that they're kind of, I don't want to like pretend that I'm, being libelous or whatever, but pretty much everybody knows that they're kind of doing some sort of shady SEO tricks, and so they always are. And every time a new release, a new algorithm update comes out, they kind of just tank. So here's like some of their marquee keyword rankings, and you can see here's panda and here's penguin, and then every time they sort of bounce back, though they're extremely resilient and pretty good, I guess, from that perspective at what they do. But yeah, it's interesting to be able to look at this entire history going back to 2007 of what happens to a domain's rankings. Anyway, that's sort of off the topic. It's just that I wanted to show what the real value of that is. Interestingly, we also did the same thing with the ad stuff. You can go all the way back and look at any domain's ad copy over time. You can see basically which keywords they've been buying and spending their most money on for going back 5 years. So you can just keep zooming back. So I'm looking here at Groupon, and I thought I'd just hop out here and show you this live, because part of this stuff is actually just about the interactivity. And I couldn't quite figure out how to show you that you can keep going back and keep going back to literally the birth of Groupon, right? This is their very first ad that they ever ran, right? We've actually been collecting this data longer than they've been a company. This content, this ad could have been written by the founder himself, and every step along the way, and you see that there are, they've run each one of these A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P things. Those are A/B tests, right? So we have not just A/B testing, but we have all the way through P and Q of A/B tests. So you can see which test won every step, right? So it's really powerful to reassure yourself that you're seeing the entire picture of how someone evolved their AdWords campaign. Now, how do we tie this back into building content? Where did I put my PowerPoint? Here we go. Well, let me show you a quick sort of case study. And, you know, whatever. It's hopefully, you know, this doesn't seem too much like a get-rich-quick scheme, because it's more like a get-rich scheme, less about the quick. But let's just start from the top, right? Let's look at like who the biggest advertisers on all of AdWords are, and this is sort of part of the things that we do at SpyFu. And so you look through here, and I'm like, huh, insurance companies, kind of that. I definitely expect that. I know that they spend a lot. And then there's, oh, look, JCPenney's on here. That's interesting. But five out of the top 20, is that right? 5 out of the top 20 are education. Huge. The top 5 alone spend $1.1 million per day, or about $350 million per year, on Google AdWords alone. It's enormous. This is just the 5 domains, right? And what's really interesting on here is that 2 of these guys aren't even education. They're not even actual like institutions. They're just lead gen. That's all they do is lead gen. Okay? And they're spending $60 million a year and $35 million a year, respectively. They do nothing but provide leads. It's enormous. Now, I may be like, you guys may all know this. I'm not sure how many people are like intensely aware of the fact that education is, paid education is huge in terms of the online lead gen stuff. But if you go in and you look at these pages, they're not like anything amazing. It's like, okay, find a college. And you got Shannon Doherty on here, not necessarily even Shannon Doherty's best picture ever. It's sort of like not, I look at it and I'm like, huh, I feel like I'm not like up against a $60 million a year advertising behemoth. I look at it and I'm like, it's kind of crappy, whatever, okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm not like overly impressed, right? Then I look at this one and I'm like, what am I? Yeah, like this is $35 million in ad spend, and like it's like clip art, right? Clip art. I'm not being a dick. This is just what it is. I'm stating the fact that it's actually clip art, right? Okay. So this is affiliate marketing, okay? And I personally know people that have built $20 million companies in revenue per year on education leads alone, and maybe some payday loan stuff or whatever. But like this, you can make a small fortune doing this stuff. And in fact, these aren't like CPC, or these are actually cost per lead stuff, so it's CPL. And in fact, if you just do the little bit of research, you can figure out what sort of how this is working. And here's a posting on an affiliate program website, and basically it's okay. So this is DeVry University. What they do is they pay $25 per call. So you basically get people. It's pay per call, and it's like live transfer, and this is sort of how this stuff works these days. So you put up these websites, and you pay people, and you get a high enough conversion rate, and you get them to make a phone call, or you get a phone call to happen. You're not actually making the phone call, but anyway. So if you look at the breakdown of these two companies, and this is sort of a moving pie chart, right? Like this is a stacked graph of, okay, here's in orange is how much they're spending, or how much of their traffic they're getting via paid click, and in green is how much organic traffic they're getting, right? So you see the green there, you see the not any green that's there, they're paying for all of their traffic, right? Now, as just a small guy, wanting to compete with these huge spenders, I'm inclined to go a different route perhaps, right? But I kind of want to use their most successful stuff where possible. So I would basically went in and looked at this ad history for this Classes USA guys, and I wanted to, sort of drill into a niche, and I just started, kind of looking at what the keywords they had, and one of the things that you can do in ad history is filter by phrase match. So I just typed in mother, and then I started looking, and because mother happened to be, there's words in there with mother. I'm sorry, some of their keywords had mother in it. So I was like, oh, well, what's that? What is that like? How do I drill into that? And so then of all the keywords that had the word mother, and then their single mother grants is their most successful, most profitable keyword. So I was like, okay, well, let's drill into that, right? And the beautiful thing here is that this gets a reasonable amount of traffic, about 2,000 searches per month, relatively high cost per click, and an extremely low ranking difficulty, okay? So we actually calculate ranking difficulty. We do a really good job of it, and we do it for every keyword. You can sort of do searches and filters based on ranking difficulty along with the number of searches and advertisers and so on. So I drilled further into this keyword, and I looked at what the rankings were, and I said, okay, well, let's just take these top couple, okay? So I drilled into this actual URL here for this #1 result, and I wanted to see, is this a worthy keyword? Well, $20,000 worth of clicks, right? $20,000 worth of clicks per month seems like something, a worthy piece of content. Hopefully this thing is immaculate. Turns out not immaculate. Not immaculate in any way, almost offensive in its lack of immaculateness. All right, so let's look at the #2 result, or let's actually look into these competing pages, right? So we want to figure out which one of these ones is at least reasonably good and shareable. So I drill into the next one, and I'm like, okay, how good is this one? Similar, decent amount, right? Like basically, if this thing had, if it had a value here in the say couple $100 range, I would say that would be something that I wouldn't look at as something I should emulate. But in the thousands of dollars, I mean, seriously, it's not going to. You could build 20 pieces of content to try to hit something here. So. So I basically would take, now I'm looking at this actual page, and again, it kind of sucks. In fact, it even has AdSense on it. I mean, in terms of really high-quality content ranking well in the SERPs on a high-value keyword, I don't think of this as really great content. Now, you'd have to look at their backlink profile and all this stuff, right? But we're focusing on building decent content and knowing that eventually links and so on will follow, or we can have, building backlinks as part of our strategy and building the content as the other part of our strategy. But realistically here, this is not content that you, as a determined individual, can't beat in terms of quality. Beating this in terms of quality, easy. So what do you do about this? And this is more or less the end of my presentation. But I'm going to give Steve a sort of blueprint for what I would expect that I would want to do. And given just this research that I just did, what I would do is I would say, all right, I want to take these two pages, right, that are doing really well on this keyword. And then I would say this is an article, in order for an article based around the same topic as the provided URLs, we're looking for a brand new article, but taking the same approach. And this article will be published to whatever my website is. And then my target audience is single mothers interested in higher education grants, right? That's actually what I would expect to post, to have somebody write this for me on TextBroker. But with that, I will turn it over to Steve to sort of pick up where I left off. Actually, I should probably give you control or something like that. So Steve? Steve? Christina?
Yes,
Anyone?
how can I help?
Oh.
I'm here. I just unmuted Steve. I'm sorry, he was muted for a little bit.
That's okay. I gotcha.
And now he is unmuted, and he can continue the presentation.
Outstanding. I'm just making him a presenter.
All right. And we did get, while we're switching over, we did get one question, Mike, on
cool.
How you're moving from one view to the other. So maybe what we want to cover in the Q&A is a little bit more, if we can, a live demo of SpyFu.
Yeah, sure.
And just drilling down
Absolutely.
into those areas.
Yeah, not a problem. We'll do that.
Okay. Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello? Okay, yeah, it turned out that, okay, good. Christina, I think you unmuted, even though that's my name, I think that's not me. I'm actually TextBroker International. So that's why I couldn't hear. So I just unmuted myself. And good, I'm glad you guys can hear me. Good. That's a a nice transition at least.
That's funny, yeah. And
okay. Yeah.
Go to webinar.
Exactly. So, okay, let me make myself the presenter as well. 1 second. Make presenter. Okay. Show my screen. Okay, so I guess you guys can see my PowerPoint at this point. Is that fair to say? Is that true?
You're good.
Okay, perfect. And yes, I think Mike's presentation goes perfectly into ours, not just because SpyFu is really a perfect complement to TextBroker in its ability to find out lucrative markets, valuable keywords, analyze competitors, and get a sense of the type of content that should be used, but also just because it rips into this presentation well in terms of style and structure, and the examples that Mike showed of the education niche, both in terms of some of the perhaps lackluster style, an interface, and kind of the opportunity that's there for new types of content. But before going too deep into that, let me just give you an introduction into TextBroker proper. Ultimately, we are a proven, scalable, and high-quality content platform that offers customers an easy and inexpensive access to content on a massive scale. And that's really something that I want to emphasize here. The three primary points that I want to emphasize here is our ability to provide scalability, so content on a really large scale if need be, affordability. It'll be very difficult for you to find content priced at a lower rate than ours, and also quality, just in the sense that we have an entire office in Las Vegas that's dedicated to ensuring the quality of our authors' writing, who are constantly assessing their writing, giving them a star rating, making sure that it's up to par, up to our clients' demands and needs, as well as project managers that are on hand to work with the clients directly to actually place orders for them, to navigate our system, and to navigate our writers. And the quick background on Textbroker is that we were founded in 2005 in Germany and came to the States in 2008. Currently, we are in 7 different countries. Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure I can nail it. It's Germany, Italy, France, Spain, the Netherlands, Brazil, and the United Kingdom. At this point, we have over 50,000 clients, including many top 100 sites, many large agencies, large clients like eBay and 1-800-Flowers, for example. And just to kind of emphasize the fact that we've been doing this for so long, before content became such a buzzword as it is now, has given us a real insight into the industry and into the space, into how we can best provide the needed content for our clients. It's allowed us to build a database of over 100,000 US-based writers that are working with us. And at this point, we know which writers are specialists in many different verticals. So for example, if you're coming to us in the education niche, we have articles that we have authors that we've vetted, that we trust, that we know can write educational content, writers that have been teachers or professors in the past, or journalists about the educational space, and we to include them on your projects if that's requested. But when you're actually creating your content, one of the major factors obviously you want to know is who your audience is. And in addition to some of the strategies that Mike showed you with SpyFu, some of the other things you may want to focus on are demographics and location, using analytics tools like Google Analytics, like Jetpack, like Alexa, and understanding the motivations and needs of your customers. For example, one of our major agency clients deals specifically with hotel companies, hotels, all across the country and really all across the world. And they know that customers that end up on these hotel sites, they're not necessarily looking for dozens and dozens of articles just promoting the hotel, although obviously they want to know what's available in the hotel, but they saw an opportunity to add additional value. And what they did was provide content based on the location of the hotel, talking about specific events, specific happenings going on where that hotel is located. So for example, if you would check if their client, for example, maybe the Hilton in Punta Cana, that website would talk about where to get the best margarita or something like that around the area to provide that added value for visitors of that site. And of course, another major factor for determining who your audience is that you want to pay attention to is taking a look at the social signals. This is massively powerful, not just for your own Facebook page and for your own Twitter, but analyzing your competitors as well. Seeing which pieces of content that people are liking on their Facebook page or on their Twitter page provides a massive insight into what kind of content you should be creating as well. And now onto the 2 major points here, really, when creating your content, is the idea of style and structure. Both the way you're going to be emphasizing the content itself in terms of targeting it for your audience, in terms of adding a specific spin to it, whether it's irreverent or humorous or funny, as well as the structure, as in whether this particular post calls for a blog post, or this needs a newsletter or a product description. And I'm going to give you some examples and ideas of some companies that have succeeded with style, for example. And one of those companies is definitely REI. They are a clothing shop, and one of the and specifically dealing in hiking and nature and outdoor type of gear. And for example, for Black History Month, one of their major strategies to provide valuable content for an African American audience had been to feature blog posts by various African Americans who already have an audience that specializes and caters to African Americans that are interested in nature. So here, for example, is a post by Rue, who is the founder of Outdoor Afro and discusses the role of the African American in nature. And this is the type of content that's relevant to the month, relevant to the time, attracted an author who is relevant to what they're offering and who already has an established audience that she's now bringing onto and into the REI community. Another kind of similar in terms of the type of clothing they sell, but different in terms of their audience, is Moose Jaw. And Moose Jaw caters to really young, energetic, anti-corporate type of audience. And one of their biggest kind of selling points for that is Moose Jaw Madness, which is just valuable content. It has nothing to do with the product descriptions or the clothing that they're selling. It has to do with user-generated pictures, new projects that they're working on in Moose Jaw. They have this dog here. I clicked on it, and it's a character or a mascot for Moose Jaw. And I know, for example, I've called Moose Jaw before, and they always answer the phone with, what is it? Welcome to Moose Jaw. So everybody is really trained to have this kind of energetic, youthful corporate culture. And another example that I really love is Oyster.com, who's really made a splash in the travel and hotel space in the last year or two, really. And one of their biggest draws was their Oysters photo fakeouts. This piece of content where they actually take photos from hotel brochures and then have their own staff or someone who actually staying at the hotel take a photo of what it looks like. So here you can see the hotel brochure photo with sandy yellow beaches and the waves splashing on shore. You have the whole beach to yourself, but really it's piled on with lawn chairs and lawn chairs and lawn chairs and tons of kids and family. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course, but different than the brochure. And another photo, the Jamaica photo fake out with the sexy lady phenomenon, where you see one woman on the poolside clad in only her two-piece bikini, and then you see the actual photo, and it's tons of normal people just splashing around in the pool. And this is the kind of content that not only was interesting and engaging for Oyster's audience, but also established them as a company with a high reputation, a company you can trust, a company who show you the truth.
Hey, Steve. I'm curious. What in terms, a lot of the stuff is about pictures. I'm wondering if you guys do anything like can I post a project and ask you guys to give come up with pictures or images, or is that something you do? I don't even know.
A lot of mainly what we do is content creation. There are some photos here, but there's a lot of content as well, both blog posts, and this is each one of these photos actually leads to content. This interface.
Okay, so there's not like a like number of words, like some kind of conversion between picture and text and words or something like that.
No, it's like that. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, on really customized projects, we can help find those images. We can help find images that would involve project management service. So it is certainly something we can do, but the core of our business is definitely content creation, the actual text.
Okay, so it's sort of like the post copy portion, right? Is that how that works? Basically, so you have a writer that writes the content, and then you have maybe like an editor or something that selects images to go along with it, and that's like a different rate, right? It's like more like an hourly rate.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mike. Essentially, in our pool of 100,000 U.S.-based writers, they're paid a per word rate, and then we have full-time project managers on staff. For example, the one I work with is Kara. She's a full-time project manager. She'll work with the client, and if the client says, I need content and I need this image associated with it, and they give us, some sense of what the images are or where they could be, we can help place that on for an additional fee once we calculate kind of the cost to us for finding those images and placing them into the article.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Good question. Yeah.
Sorry. Keep going.
How am I doing on time here? Okay. I'm going to wrap this. I'm going to move along a little bit. As far as style guide, as we mentioned already, it's how do you want to be seen. Again, whether it's the tone is casual, fun, caring, irreverent, everything from whether it's first person or third person or you're addressing the reader directly, these things all matter and are worth considering when you're assessing your style. And again, what you're trying to do, whether that's drive traffic, establish your reputation, establish yourself as an authority, as someone who's a purveyor of truth, or just increase purchases or subscriptions via landing pages. And finally, it's the structure of how you want to present this content. And with TextBroker, we can really do anything in terms of structure as long as it's specified to our writers and our project managers. And this can include anything from product descriptions for an e-commerce website to blog posts, press releases, doing the social media for another company via tweets or ebook, or establishing white papers or ebooks or travelogues. So this and more. If you have creative ideas that aren't even on this list, TextBroker, we can come up with a solution. So in conclusion, the style sets the tone, the structure gives you the general shape of your content, and before we kind of veer too far away, I just want to quickly show you the platform. If even after this call you'd like to take a look at the platform, broker.com, click on clients. Registering is as easy as filling out your email address and password and clicking start now, and that will lead you. Hopefully you guys aren't having too much of a web issue. I mean, is the screen?
No, it looks great.
Too much? Okay, good.
No, that's perfect.
All right, you got me.
Yeah,
a little nervous.
if we can finish that, like if you can take them through how to do what sort of I left off with on my last slide, take those two articles and sort of build a build piece of content. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So filling it out at TextBroker Clients, registering on the home page here, and then that would take you down the line here from entering your billing address, funds, and then creating an order. That's where the fun gets in. You can either create an open order where that goes to a pool of our writers based on someone of a certain quality level and subject expertise of your writing, a direct order where you find an author directly, or a team order where you actually create a team of specialists. But let's just go with the simplest one here, which is really just placing an order to our entire pool of writers. You'd simply click place order, choose a project. I have one called test account. Category would be education. Quality level would be 5 stars, which is really professional level, professional copywriter. The content will be flawless. You set a word count, turn on the SEO options, how many times you want the keywords repeated, set the title, school and universities.
Oh, is it mother,
what is it?
Something.
Single mother grants. Oh, single mother grants.
Yeah.
Enter the keywords that you want in the article that you found with SpyFu, of course, and enter those sample articles that Mike mentioned, and then you'd simply.
Now, did you like the way that I worded that specifically? I mean, this is sort of the trick is making sure that we get the right kind of result. Yes. And
you're absolutely right.
I basically said I want an article that is, what did I say here? I said here's the 2 URLs. This is an order for an article based around the same topic as the provided URLs. We're looking for a brand new article, but taking the same approach. Is that good language for authors?
Yes, I would say the most important thing that you did is include samples of what the articles would be. That's massive. And perhaps focusing them specifically on what you liked about those samples.
Okay.
and would be additionally beneficial. And here,
now, do you think that like 2 is a good number, or 3, or I mean, obviously you don't want to do like 10,
right.
and 1 apparently isn't good. So I mean, I
Yes.
want to make them do as little work possible, but also what I want them to actually read these articles.
I would say more. Yeah, I would say more than 2 is excessive. If you really want to make it as easy as possible for them to get the best idea, if you include just 1, that'll let them get inspired. But if you include 2 or a website with several different articles and say this is what you like about this specific article and this is the structure that you want, maybe 3 bullet points included here, starting with 2 paragraphs. I like the way this person mentioned, single mother grants and about this focus area and how he used this stylistic language. A little bit in terms of that kind of direction, specific, somewhat specific, but also leaving it open for the writer's interpretation is really what gets the best results. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, is there a way that I can take that same spec and let's say have 5 articles written by 5 different authors, and then I could just sort of choose, or put them all up on different sites maybe or whatever, like people do things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of the benefit of open order here, is that
so you can just say how many articles you want, or is that?
Yeah, you can really write the order titles here, how many articles you want.
So like I could do single mother grant and then single mom.
Exactly.
Grant,
and that's a good way that's one good way to kind of vet our authors and see which authors are beneficial. I would also just say that if anyone listening on this webinar has large-scale projects, maybe 50 articles or above, navigating the system can get a little complex in this sense. So that's when I would really recommend contacting me, and I would help set them up with a project manager who would make this process a lot more manageable and establish teams of specialists. If you just have a dozen articles, one-offs, definitely use the system. But if you have something consistent and you want something scalable, it's good to have someone full-time at Textbroker on your side.
Cool. And then so what does this end up costing? Okay, so we built this one article. We put in like the description that I had. You chose the highest level. I understand that the level 4 is also is kind of like really economical on your side,
right?
Which might be adequate to compete with those pieces of content. So you're looking at, what is that, 400 words. So we'd have to figure out how many words we're competing against.
Exactly.
It looked like it was maybe more like on the 600 word length, just
okay.
Yep.
And this calculates it for you right here. Tells you how much the price would be at 4-star. At 4-star would be 2.2 cents per word. 5-star 6.7 cents per word.
That's pretty economical. Now, do these things come back to me with? I mean, are they all spell checked in like? I mean, is there an editor in this process or in that price point or not?
No. As far as that's where the project management services come in. As far as just using the platform yourself, you get the articles back, but you do get to ask authors for revisions if they're not up to par, and you have 3 days to ask for revisions. But if you want them proofread and edited for you, and checked for everything, make sure they're kind of staying on message, that's where you get a project manager, and that price can range depending on your needs. On average, I'd say it's $6 or $7 per article.
Okay. Oh, so still, like if I wanted, reasonably high quality at the 4-star range, then I can get an article built for $16. Like you're talking about $16 to get an article done that has the upside potential of $30,000 in return per month.
Exactly.
Right?
It's kind of
basically what we were dealing with there.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we don't do a great job and we get a $5,000 a month return or $1,000 or anything, right? $100.
Yes.
I mean, we are looking at, write 100 articles, right? It'll cost you $1,600, and you don't have to do any proofreading.
Exactly.
$1,600 for 100 articles builds your. Okay, look, if we built out this niche on single mother grants, we built 100 articles on it, maybe across 5 different sort of websites, yeah, you're going to make money, I promise. You're not going to lose. You're not going to lose. You're going to like make less than $1,600 even if you sell it on Flippa. That's all I'm saying.
Well, listen, you're the SEO ninja with mad skills, so you say it. I love it.
I just see it. I just see how it is. That's how the world seems to be working.
That's awesome.
We have a question from the audience, and it's for Mike. So, Steve, if you would switch over your screen and make Mike the presenter quickly.
Sure thing.
The question is, the audience member wasn't sure how the navigation happened.
Sure.
I think it was just kind of a lot of information, and if we could kind of live demonstrate some of that, if that's possible.
Absolutely. Let's do that real quick here. So I believe what I started out with, on SpyFu, obviously. And I think that the first thing that I did was type in seomoz.org/blog, right? So we went here, and then we were looking at Webmaster Tools, and I just clicked on Webmaster Tools. Oh, my bad. I didn't click on Webmaster Tools. That takes you to that URL. I clicked on this, which takes me to that page. And then we were looking at this page, and we were like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I was scrolling down here, and you see that they don't actually advertise that page, but we were looking at these matching pages and sort of the social metrics on this, which is interesting because Steve mentioned that in one of his slides, that the social metrics of your competitors is a big deal. So this is like the fastest way of seeing all of your all of the competing web pages. You can obviously view more on this, FYI. You can just keep viewing more and more of them, but it tends to be, we put the best ones up front. So then you can take any of these and click on history to take you in and see where this URL, where this, what the ranking history is for this this URL on this keyword. Okay, so that's how we got to that. Then if we were to like look at like the keyword Webmaster Tools, we can see. Well, it looks like only Google actually advertises on that, probably because they only allow themselves to. But I don't know. Let's see. How about? Well, we'll use Steve's example, REI. It's their branded keyword. Let's see. Oh, nope, they're not letting anybody advertise on that. But like, I don't know. So let's see.
It's a little tough with the big brands. They usually don't, they're trying to sell their own.
Yeah, branded keywords are sometimes litigious.
Have other people advertising on those keywords.
Yeah. Oh, in my case, so here we have Timberland.com advertising on their own keyword, and they've got like 26 different variations that we have going all the way back. You can actually click on this this Add History tab and see that this is for a single keyword. My example that I was using was going into Groupon.com, so I just type in Groupon, and wait for it. While that's going, like I said, the GoToMeeting sometimes interferes with this, but I'll show you the this is the page where I went to. I just typed in Pinterest.com/DesiGroup, and we were able to see all of these guys here. I also showed you that I can click on that history and see those things. So that's how that navigation works. Anyway, Groupon's up now.
Sorry, we did have a question on.
Oh, yeah.
Another attendee said when they go to SpyFu and type in a URL, they don't get the organic stuff. It goes straight to profitable ads and keywords. So they were wondering if there was a special setup for that page.
No, they may have typed in
down too much.
just the domain. They may have typed in just the domain. And if you just typed in just the domain, there's this button here, and it's kind of actually it's kind of a weird. It's improperly named. We need to change the name of this button. But if you click on View Site here, this takes you to that same page, but for Groupon.com. So you'll end up seeing these SEO keywords. It looks like oh, no, it's coming back. So you can see everything that Groupon ranks on. And, of course, we show Groupon ranks well on their on their brand. They rank in number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They pretty much nail all of those for their brand, but you can do view more and see keywords that aren't those. Or you can actually filter for things that are like, for example, deal. So you could just do that instead of, so you don't see all those branded keywords. Deal of the day. Look, they do pretty well on that too. So yeah. There's no special setup. You kind of just have to type in the URL, so it'd be like SpyFu.com/blog rather than SpyFu.com, or you can just click on that button that I just showed you.
Yeah, I think that was the magic button. The attendees says, cool, thanks. So we answered that one.
Awesome.
We are kind of at our time limit, so awesome. I just want to give the attendees one little chance. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask. And I wanted to thank you both, Mike, for giving us this intro into SpyFu, and then Steve for giving the intro into TextBroker.
Do you guys happen to have an offer at all? Well, I shouldn't ask it like that. Well, if you do, then now's a great time. We have, just for being on the line here, we'll offer, I guess, hop on our live chat, and we'll give you 50% off your first month. You'll talk to Danielle and just ask for that, and we'll hook you up if you do it, pretty much in the next hour or whatever. She'll know I'm looking at her right now through my office, and she is listening and understands that she should get some people on chat. So if you guys have anything you'd like to offer, that'd be awesome. Do you have any coupons or promos or anything? Christina, I don't think we're offering any kind of promos or coupons at the moment. However, if anyone would be interested in an actual one-on-one walkthrough of the platform or a consultation in what kind of content may be right for your website or how we can leverage it, how TextBroker can best be leveraged for your content needs, I'd be happy to help you with that. And you can just shoot me an email at sp@textbroker.com. Awesome. So, sorry to put you on the spot. I did, but that'll probably be a really good thing to have that direct contact. Yeah, I would recommend that.
So anybody who has questions about SpyFu, getting up to speed with SpyFu, using it to the max, they can contact Danielle at the SpyFu live chat at SpyFu.com then, right?
That's right. In fact, you can see this live chat thing. It's at the top of every page on SpyFu, and it's pretty much you're gonna get Danielle. She's always on it.
And we do actually have an offer going.
Oh.
Right on.
I almost gypped everyone. Go on, Christina.
No,
go on.
Good. Sorry. I didn't mean to hold back. I wanted to answer people's questions first. But if you do email Steve at sp@textbroker.com and mention that you were on the call, you do get a $10 credit to get started.
All right.
Awesome.
Free money.
That's enough to get That's enough to get an article done, isn't it?
It's exactly right.
$9.60.
Yeah. Get a single mom grant article.
There you go.
Quadruply return.
And of course, as Steve mentioned, we always do consultations and content reviews to see what's working for you, where you could add stuff in, and where you can make your page more successful.
Outstanding.
All right. I think that's all the questions we got. We are 5 minutes over. So thank you, everybody, for attending. Thank you, Mike, for contributing. And thank you, Steve, for your presentation as well. We will be
Thanks a lot, Christina and Steve. It's great to be on the line with you.
You too.
Thank you. We will be doing another webinar soon, and that will be on translation and content creation for translation. So if you're thinking about going international or expanding to international, keep your eyes out for the upcoming invitation for that webinar. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.